Everybody, good evening.
Hey, Dawana, what's going on? How you doing, sweetheart? Yeah, what's up, big guy? Thanks for tuning in, man. Big Paul, what's going on, bro?
Hey, my wife is just tuned in. Hey, Cynthia Jennings. Hey, big dog Tony Williams.
Hey, Cynthia, what's going on?
I hope you're enjoying Vegas, brother. It's been a while, man. So
it has been quite a minute, man.
Happy to be back. Happy to be back.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Thursday night. As our lovely host, Christina, likes to call it, the livest night of your lives. Welcome to intellectualradio.com. I am your co-host, Deion Washington, with my man to my right, Tracy Jennings.
Hey.
Future congressman coming on board.
Appreciate that.
We are here, absolutely, man. We are here. Christina had a little issue getting here. She ran late with a meeting, so it's just going to be the fellas again tonight. So we hope y'all can hang with us and we don't bore y'all to death. So what's going on with you, Trace?
Oh man, everything is good. Actually, I came bearing gifts tonight.
Oh,
so Chris, when you tune in, just know my wife sent her new book out. This is my wife's book. And she sent you an autographed copy, Chris.
That's gonna be awesome.
So you'll have that the next time you come in. We also had our campaign gear has come out.
Yeah.
So Deion, I'm bearing gifts for you, brother.
Yeah,
all right. So we got the campaign hat, the Tracy Jennings for Congress hat,
and it's fitted. I like that.
Yeah, it's fitted. Check out the back of it. You know, so we got the logo. The campaign logo, expect more, is on the back. That's for you.
Yes,
we also, we're still bearing gifts.
We
still bearing gifts. We got you a T-shirt. Yeah, a campaign T-shirt. So, this is the Tracy Jennings for campaign T-shirt. That's from my man Deion Washington. We still got gifts. We still got gifts. And then we got a button, Tracy Jennings for Congress button. to my man. We go all the way back to high school. And so, Chris, I had all of this stuff for you. So just so you know,
selling it.
That's it. That's it. We're not giving you anything, but no, it's been a while.
It has been quite a while, man.
So Paige, Yolanda, to Cherise, to Michelle. So we thank you guys for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was an article that was very interesting.
I saw. Yeah. I didn't have a chance to read it, but I did see that you sent it to me.
But the premise of it is really, But we could talk about some other things to catch up on. But it was an article that I sent to the team earlier today. And after reading it, I was like, wow, this might be something. But it says adult children, parents don't owe you anything.
I did see that. I saw that much. Yeah, I did.
And it really, it's a young lady. Her name is Jasmine Denise. So if you guys Google her name, Jasmine Denise, the article will come up. But it was a very good read because it really kind of points out how there are a lot of adult children that are still kind of, almost demanding that their parents continue to take care of them. And so what was cool about it, this is a young lady in her late 20s who gave her story. She's married, she was pregnant, she's a school teacher, and so she was just having a hard time. It was a hard pregnancy. And so she kind of mentioned something to her mom. Hey cuz, hey Sheila. She kind of mentioned something to her mom about not feeling well. So her mom just showed up one day.
Oh, what's up, bro?
Took her shopping for all her maternity clothes, cooked for her, and she was so appreciative of it, because that was something that she's realized in her life that her mom did not have to do.
Right.
So the story goes on where she meets up with a friend of hers who's in the same age group, but was literally seething because she's almost 30 and her father had stopped paying her car note.
Oh, wow.
Because he was preparing for retirement.
Right.
And so she was like really saying bad things about her father. And so the young lady was like, that entitlement, feeling that some adults have. And I just thought it was an interesting article. I have two adult children.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Anything that we do, they're grateful. They're appreciative, but it's not old.
Yeah. It's so funny, man, because when you sent me the article, and I was like, okay, I got to read it, but I was really running around the house trying to clean up since my kids weren't cleaning up. So it's funny that you meant that this is what this article is about, because me and my 19-year-old just had this argument this morning, about, what we should be doing and what he doesn't have to do. I said, when I saw the article, I said, I thought I saw someone peeking in my window. I was like, I'm going to tell that Tracy about himself when I see him later on, man. You know what I'm saying?
No. It was just something that when I came across it, it is. And we have to ask ourselves, Dion.
Yeah.
Have we given our children too much?
Too much. And I think
y'all weigh in on this because, I think a lot of us, we come from the south side of Chicago.
Yeah.
We didn't have a whole lot of monetary things growing up.
Absolutely.
And so I think a lot of times we wind up saying, you know what, I'm going to make sure.
We overcompensate.
I'm going to make sure I give my kids this and I give them that and I give them the other. Did that hurt them versus helping them? Yeah. Now, some can balance it out. Some can balance it out.
Very few, though. Very few. I think it's very few, man. Because, it's so funny. In my house, it's funny how my oldest and my youngest is just like, okay, look, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stretch for too much. I'm not going to, try and, ride their backs too much. Mm-hmm. And not to say that my 19-year-old does, but his thing is, man, he feels this self-entitlement, this overly strong sense of self-entitlement that's just unbelievable to me. And I'm going to just put this out there. I'm not going to say his name or anything just in case he's listening. Hey, Miss Henderson, how you doing? But the thing is this. He said that the Bible says...
he went there.
The Bible says that children are here to make their parents better. And both me and my wife did the Scooby-Doo. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute. Well, I was like, wait a minute. I don't even think it said that in the Quran, let alone the actual Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I challenged him to find the scripture.
Right, show me that.
And he asked my wife, and my wife was like,
Teresa.
I think, what you're trying to say is, and I can't remember the scripture right off the top of my head, man, but it was just like, okay, so from what this says to what you said are Earth and the Moon. You know what I'm saying? They're two different planets, man. You know what I'm saying? And he tried to argue that it was the same. And so we said we were going to discuss this later on tonight. Okay. So I'm pretty sure when I get home, before I'm able to close my eyes, we're going to finish this conversation. But, again, to you, what you were saying, and I know I got a little bit off the beaten path, but I mean, a lot of times we do overcompensate, because like you said, we weren't born with silver spoons in our mouths. Right. And so, we try to do things for our kids that weren't done for us, whatever the reason may be. Right. And some can be humble enough to say, man, I appreciate that. Some just like, okay, well, if you can do this, what else can you do for me? You're supposed to be able to do some more, and that's just
it's amazing that I think a lot of
Jim, what's up, bro?
And we also hear
Red Piggy, what's up, bro?
We didn't put we didn't put the financial burden on them,
right?
So they were oblivious to what was going on. So we didn't put that on them. And so they were, they probably think, well, you guys are rich.
You got to have it.
You got to have it. You've never everything I've always asked for.
Right,
You've always given it to me. So therefore, you have to be rich.
Be able to continue it. And not just because I'm 10 or 15 or 17. Now that I'm 20, you know what I'm saying? And 25, I should be doing my 30. Own, you know what I'm saying? Y'all still should do this. My girl, Amanda said,
y'all chime in on this because we need to hear from some people because
we need some backup.
the thing is you want to do In fact, I was proud to do for my children.
Absolutely.
I have no issue with that. I sacrificed stuff for myself to make sure that they had it, and I love seeing them prosper.
Yeah.
And you want to try to give them a leg up, but at what point in time, you know, if a parent has to say, I don't have it.
Right.
And it's not even the fact that we don't have it.
Right.
I'm just tired of giving
I'm
it to
not going to give it to you. That's really what I'm trying to say, because, and this is the one thing that I kept saying to I said to all three of my kids, even my youngest, even though he don't ask for much. But the thing is this, at some point,
I got you, Brother Tony.
You should be able to do for yourself if this is what we're teaching you. Me and my son just had this conversation last week, and I've always told them from the time they could understand what I was saying, that a real man handles all of his responsibilities, 1 to 1 million, A to Z, forwards, backwards, inside out, upside down, and any which way they come at you, you handle them. So that means whatever your responsibility may be, if at 5 years old, it might be making up your bed. At 15, it might be cutting the grass. But as you grow, your responsibilities grow, and that means you need to learn how to incorporate all of your responsibilities into hanging with your friends, going to school, going out on the weekends, and all of the other stuff, studying and all that stuff. I still have responsibilities.
Right.
Like my youngest is a football player and a wrestler, so he's busy from June up until like December or January. Right. But that still don't mean you ain't got to make your bed. You still got to take the garbage out every Monday night. Right. You know what I'm saying? And whatever else we ask you to do, and he's okay with it. And some kids can deal with it, some can't. I mean, like I said, my girl Amanda said, I paid my daughter's cell phone 4 years through high school. And when she got into college and got a job, I took her off my contract, and she was hurt. Today, she's just fine. Been paying her own bill for 2 years now. College graduate associates, continuing her education. So I get the shock. I hear what you're saying, man. I get the shock when it's first, taken away from you. We all went through that at some point. Right. But again, your daughter was able to recover. That's a beautiful thing. Right. She realized, okay, man, look, I am responsible. This is my phone, so I'm going to take care of it because this is what I'm supposed to do. And this is what we try and teach our kids. At some point, you understand that it goes from mom and dad holding your hand to you doing this by yourself. It's just like when we walk it with you, we hold your hand across the street until you're old enough to try to cross the street by yourself.
Exactly.
We teach you how to make your bed until you know how to make your bed. We teach you how to wash the dishes until you know how to do it. And then after you're done, it's all on you. Right.
And that's the thing. I think when young people, yes, it might be an initial shock.
Pink, what's up, man?
Because they really do need to understand that, hey, listen, these bills they get paid, but they're not paid by magic.
Exactly.
So when we get paychecks, we have to keep a roof over your head. We're doing all these things, and that's every single month.
Absolutely.
It doesn't. We don't take breaks off every day. We're taking care of those things. So that's what the article really was pointing out is that if you're an adult child, and your parents do something for you, show the gratitude for it.
Absolutely.
Say, right.
Say, man, thank you.
But what has, another piece of this is that a lot of family have fallen out. The kids won't speak to the parents right now because you got the money, and it's like, wow, you have a whole job. And so what do you spend your money on?
Exactly. And why is it that you haven't been able to prioritize what is important to you? Right. You know what I'm saying? You want to go and hang out. Right. You want to go and spend. I have a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine in Indiana, in Maryville. She lives in Valparaiso. And she said one of her sons is the same way. Every time there's an event or the guys want to come hang out, he's got to splurge on everybody, and then he'll call her, at the end of the week, man, I need $40 for my light bill. Right. But wait a minute. Wait a minute, you just got paid. So what is it you're doing? And again, I get it. He's like 26, 27 years old, and he's still kind of young. But I mean, the thing is, you got your own place.
Here's my thing. I was married when I was 24. So I'm kind of like the last person on the planet.
Right. So you weren't asking nobody for that.
We had our son when we was 24, our daughter when we was 26.
There you go.
And so, actually in a couple of weeks we've been married been together for 28 years and married for 26. Wow. So, and that's the thing. It's like, listen, these things aren't entitled. You're not entitled to it.
Exactly.
If I want to do that for you, say thank
That's
you.
my
Hey, I
prerogative to do that.
appreciate
Right,
it. I mean,
right.
this is, you didn't have to do that.
Exactly.
But to have a situation where it becomes contentious, where, you know, you guys are abandoning me.
Right.
Or the worst thing is when they then take it to social media.
Oh, my goodness.
And then they're, you know, my people
Trying
are
to
not
get a
doing
crowd,
right.
trying to
And
gather
that doesn't make sense, because think about it. Say you paid a child's phone bill for 20 years.
Right.
And then you say, hey, I can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of them looking at, hey, they paid this all the way for 20
years.
years. So
Right.
now, you know, but it's that. So we kind of want to deal with that tonight.
Right.
If you're watching, you know, is the younger generation, did we create the monster? You know, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. So Michelle said, amen, you can tell that some parents never threaten to sell their kids.
Wow.
Go on, Michelle.
Wow.
But see, that's the thing. A lot of times, you know, I think too, from what we, you know, because we came up, it was like that. Money don't grow on trees. Money don't grow on trees. Right. So we were indoctrinated in how much money we don't have.
Right.
So we were like, okay, we got a field trip. Well, you gonna have to do something, collect some cans or take some bottles, and they made us made us work for it. Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you wanted to do it, if you want to go, then you're gonna have to do something.
This is all on you. And you know what? I tell my kids this, man. All my kids, all three of my sons know this. My father, at 12 years old, told me he wasn't gonna buy my shoes anymore. I knew my mother wasn't gonna buy no shoes, so he said, "Here's the deal." He said, "If you can save your money, your allowance, every week," he said, you pay half and I pay half.
There you go.
So basically, I've been buying my own shoes since I was 12 years old. I'm 50.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? You talking about for 38 years, I done bought my own shoes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With the exception of my wife buying me about 4 or 5 pairs of shoes,
Right.
you know. But again, it's really all been on me. And so I've tried to tell my kids the same thing. And now, you know, well, my oldest son, of course, he's out on his own, so he's doing his thing. And so he don't reach back for nothing, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
My 19-year-old, okay, man, look, he's still struggling with the concept of, okay, this is my responsibility. I told him, I just had to flat out tell him, I'm not buying you no shoes no more. You got a job now, so I'm not buying you no shoes. Matter of fact, I'm not buying you no clothes. Now, you deal with what you want to get, how you deal with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the only one left is my
Hey,
15-year-old.
my cousin.
And
Hey, baby.
my 15-year-old, in all honesty, is the most humble out of all three of my boys. So he'll ask once, and then the next time you look up, he'll have the Three Stooges shoes on, no sole in the bottom.
Well,
He's
see,
like,
that's
"Dad,
what
asked
I
you
was gonna
6 months
say.
ago to give me some shoes."
My
So-
first name brand pair of shoes was my freshman year of high school at Morgan Park in 1982. And you know who bought those?
Who?
I did. Because
Right,
the
right.
shoes that my dad and my mom would buy me came from a little store. If you're from the South Side, it used to be on 119th and Hoss. It called Bill Scott.
Oh my
And so,
God! Oh wow!
so right. So you literally, these are the ones that the shoes, if you guys don't know about some of these shoes, they would literally blow out.
Yeah,
You would be on the
yeah,
basketball
yeah.
court and you would hear poof, and the shoe would literally
That's it. Your
explode
soul is
apart.
gone. Your soul is gone.
So
All right, what's up, bro?
I worked 8th grade. That's when they had the summer jobs in Chicago. So I worked coming out of 8th grade and going into 9th grade. I got a summer job. And I was so proud to buy me a pair of Converse. And I'll never forget them, man. They were white on white.
Oh,
you know,
man,
and then
white
them
on
the
white.
one that you could color.
Yes,
the color
sir.
start.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and so
sir.
I bought me a pair of white on white Converse. And then because Morgan Park colors were white and green, I then colored the star and the little emblem green.
Yeah, right,
so
right.
but it gave me such a
what's up,
sense
mama?
of accomplishment.
Right.
Because I'm like, wow, that's something that I saved my money for. That's something that I was able to
Took
go
the
into the
time to
store
do, yep, on
and
my
say,
own,
these
yep.
are the ones I want.
Man, that's
and
it,
so
man.
that's why, you know, I would tell young people, listen, the entitlement thing, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you have to get to a point in your life where you get some victory, where you get some, like, man, we
A
really
sense of
did
pride,
that.
yeah,
Exactly.
sense
It's
of pride,
like,
yeah.
you know, and if your parents are helping you, be grateful for
Man,
that.
be
grateful.
because
You know?
again, in all honesty, what if we weren't around? Then what would we do? Well, who would you
Exactly.
blame for you not having what you had?
Exactly.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know?
And that's my whole thing, man. I'm real
Oh.
big on humility. Cortez, what's up, young fella? How you
We
doing, man?
we getting the first brand, the first shoes that we bought ourselves.
Okay. You know what, man? My dad
Got some Doc Martens out there.
Wow, you big time with that, man. My dad tried to buy me a pair of kangaroos one time, man, and man, I thought I was going to blow my lid clean off the top of my head. He's like, Walter Payton, what he shoes?
Right.
I was like, man, I
these
could
are
care
the
about
worst
Walter Payton
shoes.
or whoever else
These
Payton,
are
man.
the worst shoes.
Man.
But see, but once again, if somebody is doing something for you,
Nicole, what's going on?
you know, I mean, show appreciation for it. That's
all.
all. So
for.
the whole article, when you guys get a chance, once again, Jasmine Denise is her name. Check her out. Check that article out because she was pointing out that she has friends in their 30s and friends in their 40s that are literally upset that they would go out, spend all of their money, and then they would literally be on their parents.
Right.
I don't think a lot of times younger people realize that your parents have a life too.
Man, I
You
mean,
know,
we're trying to do things.
we want to do stuff. We like going places.
Exactly.
We don't turn up like you do, but we like to turn over. So man, we don't turn up, but we like to turn over. You know, and we want to travel, and we want to do things, and we want to know.
What's going on, sir?
We want to know that you guys are good.
Appreciate the things that we do. That's we can't say that enough because, like you said, it's not just in my family. It's not just somebody we know.
Right.
This is an international
yes,
thing. This is all over, man.
It is.
And it's ridiculous that you know. And to take it one step further, man. Even in my place of employment, man. I mean, I work for a juvenile detention center. These kids are convicted criminals or soon to be convicted criminals, and you'd be amazed at how many of them, you know, yelling at their mama on the phone about what she's supposed to do and how she ain't doing. And I looked at one kid one time. Man, this is about 7-8 years ago. We had the blizzard of all blizzards. And this kid was supposed to have court the next day. So they had already said, hey, man, look, there's a good chance they're going to cancel court because there's snow everywhere. Ain't nobody coming out. This kid got a phone call to his mother, and she was saying, I don't know if I can make it because... Now, again, I had already told him.
Right.
This dude went off on his mother so bad. Hey, Leon, what's going on, sweetheart? That I had to check him. Like, dude... I was like, you want your mother to come out in 5 feet of snow, and they didn't already told you that that ain't even going to be no court today. You're not going nowhere tomorrow. Ain't nobody going nowhere tomorrow. So what is your problem, man? And I had to check him, man, to the point where he actually called his mother back the next day and he apologized.
Great. I'm glad that you had that opportunity to do that because you have, you know, sometimes they, you know, even young people who get themselves in trouble. And unfortunately, sometimes they get incarcerated. And then they say, well, don't you have the money to bail me out? Well, first of all, let's just understand. If we do this, it's never coming back to us.
Man, I will never see this again. I know that. I know this.
So with that being said, you know, your decision making should be better. You know, and you're not entitled to this. You know, and so, but like I said, I want to hear from those out there. Did we create the monster? So because I think that's the thing is that I know for me, especially my baby girl, love her. Oh my God, You know, shout out to her. She's entering her last year of law school at Marquette University.
That's what's up, man.
But that one there. because it was just daddy. You always did this. This is your daddy, You know, and my son is different. He appreciate, thank you.
Yeah.
My daughter was like, well, anything else?
Let me check off my list.
So I know for a fact that I actually created that monster.
Chaka, what's up,
because I was so, you know, focused on them not having to go through what we went through.
Exactly.
And in hindsight, we didn't have a lot of things intangible, but it built character in us. You know, it built us to say, you know what, wow. You know, we thought we were able to come up with innovative things and innovative thinking. You know, we saw a snowstorm. We like, that's money.
Man,
I got a shovel. I'm finna get a shovel. We finna get money.
That's it.
You know, and so we saw leaves falling. We like, that's money. Man, I get a rake and we just go around the neighborhood and we say, hey, can I rake your yard? You know, but those are the things that, you know, I think in hindsight, if I could go back and change a few things, I probably would have made them work a little bit more for it versus just saying, hey, we have it, so you guys have it.
Exactly. So. And I mean, you know, again, the thing is, we want to do, like we've said, several times already, we did want to do things for our kids that weren't done for us. But I think at some point, and the crazy thing is, I don't think we overdid it. I think the kids just got used to it being done, so now this is the expectation. You know what I'm saying? That, okay, man, look, mom and dad, or dad bought mine, or mom bought mine, so they going to do this forever. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, again, going back to my son, I had to tell him, I'm not buying your shoes no more. I'm not buying your shoes no more. So he knew, okay, man, well, if I want some shoes, I got a job. So, 1 + 1 is 2. So, he figured those things out. I mean, it's just other things, again, in the house. Clean up after yourself. Keep your room clean. Clean, you got the dishes, wash the dishes, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I was doing earlier. That's why I couldn't read the article, because I was doing his job because he was at work. So, but I mean, I think it is not so much that we overdid it. I think the kids just somehow got used to us doing it, and that became the expectation. So that's why we are where we are. Hey, Shantae, how are you?
And I think a lot of it too was probably just for our own peace of mind. Let me just do this. Let me just get it out the way. If
so they ain't got to worry about it.
Right.
We
still
don't
trying to help them, not trying to, because when we grew up, a lot of it, wasn't focused on your mental health and different things. So we were like, okay, they got school, they got different things, so we don't want to stress them out. But, at some point in time, Michelle is saying that some people that she know, they have a full-time salary and trust fund and still can't seem to make it.
Wow.
And that, literally just goes to, okay, where do you think money come from?
Man,
one thing right there you go. That's one thing I was about to say.
Right,
I knew it didn't grow on trees because that was reiterated on a daily.
Time again,
and so we don't have no money tree in the backyard. And so those are things. If you wanted something, and I'll tell all the young people that's listening out there, we're not knocking on you guys or anything like that. Yeah. But you guys don't. It is such a sense of accomplishment when you want something and you do it for yourself. I can't tell you, it is truly a sense of accomplishment, and you feel so good about it. You're like, wow, this is truly a great feeling. I bought my first car. I did that. So like you said, if your father said, okay, you get half, then I got half. I used to challenge my children. I said, okay, you guys work. If your check is less than $100, I'll match you. Right. And but you got to go in. If they call you to go in, don't be trying to stay up under the 100 to get the other 100. Right. So go in. My wife is saying that some people try to live beyond their means and don't want to pivot.
Absolutely.
And so that's a key point. A lot of times, you got to keep it in mind. If something happened, and things happen sometimes, just random.
Right. Yeah,
random. Anything can come up. So if you're out there and you're working and your parents might have some means, don't take that for granted and say, well, worst case scenario, I can always call mom, them, get a quick G, and then everything's cool. Because they want to do things too.
That's it. And that's the thing. We still try. We still got
to my son watching from Texas.
And all that stuff. When my oldest son, when he got down to Atlanta and got in school, I told him, I said, look, this was your choice to go to Morehouse. I said, and we're proud of you for that. I said, but understand, this was your choice. Mm-hmm. So this is your responsibility. Now, we're not going to see you hungry. Right. We're not going to see you out there in the cold or in the rain or anything. Right. But this is your, responsibility. So you need to take care of it. And again, we sent them, some money every month, make sure you got something in the stomach and things like that, man. But I mean, the thing, hey, Mama J, the thing is, he understood that, okay, man, since I wanted this, then I have to take care of this. And so he did, to his credit, man, we never had to send him more than maybe about $100 a month or something like that. But, he made it through, and now he's much better for it. My girl, Leonia said...
Yeah, come on, bring it in, y'all, so we can...
Right, well, let me go back to Edward first. Edward said, man, my parents stopped paying for my stuff at 14, so I went too far behind you, Playboy. All I got was school clothes, and that was once a year.
What's up, Mark?
My girl, Leonia said, tough love is a necessary evil. They'll hate you now, but they'll love you for it later. And when they do get... She's absolutely right. When they do get that, sense of accomplishment that they've done this, then they'll understand why it was being done.
And it's tough, parents. Take it from me. Take it from Dion. It's tough. You don't want to see your child
struggling.
You don't. It's a fine balance there, because it's like, ooh, do I help them or do I let them learn the lesson?
Right.
And so, like I said, for me with my son, because you got all boys,
right? Yeah.
So you don't understand how the girls can look at
that's sympathy, man.
and they take you apart.
Yes, sir.
So my daughter, she could just look at daddy,
right?
And that's daddy's baby,
So it's
like,
so you
right? My son,
that's it.
My son, because he started playing football at Pop Warner, so he was always in a team concept.
Okay.
So he could be told, hey Reggie, X. He like, cool, no problem, Pop. Mm-hmm. But you tell that to my daughter, it's a whole different thing. And so it was really one of the things that I know I look back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she just got over me.
I've been played again.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah. She got me again, man. And see, the thing is, she used it to her advantage. There you go, Mark. But she didn't take advantage of it, because now she knows, hey, look, man, I'm on my own, man. This was just a step, you know what I'm saying, to get me to, independence, to be independent and to, do things.
And that's what it is, too. Mark said when he was aware at school and scholarship, he was sending money home. Yes. And that's the things. A lot of times, when I went to the military, I graduated from high school at 17. I turned 18 in basic training. Mm-hmm. And so I was sending money home. Right. I'm helping. So the responsibility, it's like I've been grown a long time.
Hey, man,
I'm 50, and I'm like, man. I've been doing this a long time.
Right.
And so when you finally get to that point, you raise your children, and then you finally have what, we never heard of this term, disposable income. And so you finally get to that point where you have disposable income, and then you want to enjoy life.
Absolutely.
You want to enjoy it. And it's not that we know, young people, sometimes y'all get into things, and we'll be there to help you. But show some appreciation. Man, that's all the article. And the article was written by a 20-something.
There you go.
And so it wasn't written by somebody 50. It was somebody who actually have noticed that her peers are really looking at things and are like, wow, they should be doing this. And that's the thing. So if you're out there and your parents are still doing, be grateful.
Man, be thankful.
Say, hey, I thank you, because there's some parents, like I said, I got gym shoes, but you remember you're Southside. Mm-hmm. Y'all out there, how many remember the Grand Jewel Bazaar on 87th, right off of the Dan Run?
Yes, sir.
You remember they had that rack of gym shoes, if that's what you want. Yep. So I used to also get gym shoes from the grocery store.
Me too.
So until you actually decided that, hey, this is what if you wanted something different, you had to work for it and put it and when you finally got it.
That's it.
Because I said, listen, we used to call them buddies. I done wore buddies all through elementary. I ain't going to Morgan Park with no buddies. I said, I'm not going to MV High with no buddies on. So, and I got my first pair of name brand shoes that I bought. And I just felt, and from that point on, like you said, I've been buying my own stuff ever since.
Hey, look, man, the one pair of name brand shoes that I can remember my parents buying, I don't know if it was my mother or my father, I had a pair of ponies. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Again, back in the day, they were hot. Hey, Miss Carter, how you doing, sweetheart? And so I thought I was hot because I had a pair of ponies. Mm-hmm. I thought this was the beginning. Again, I'm like 10 years old, you know what I'm saying? And then the next pair of shoes I got after that, they wasn't Converse like you. Mm-hmm. They wasn't even Converse. They just had the arrow. They didn't have the stop. Okay. They didn't have the stop, man. They just had the arrow. And the only reason I liked them is because they was orange. They was a different color. So I was like, okay, I can rock with these. Man, but I was just like, man, like I said, the first pair of shoes that I bought for myself, believe it or not, Air Force One. Okay. Everybody out here paying $90, $80, $100 for them. I remember when they was $50. Because like I said, I used to have to save my allowance for 5 weeks before my father gave me the other $25 so I could go get my own Air Force Ones. Yeah. They only had red, white, blue, and black. Those are the 5 colors. The 4 colors. So I had each color. I had each pair. So whenever them shoes got old, I wanted to, I said, okay, my little $5 a week allowance, I had to sacrifice getting candy. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Going to do stuff. No, I'm trying to get me a pair of shoes, man. And it taught me responsibility. It taught me how to sacrifice other things because this is what I need.
If this is what I want. If this is what I want. then I have to always look at that.
Yeah,
and we
I got a lot of great.
And sometimes, I think young people don't realize, because your parents might not ever share this with you. They might not ever share it with you, but it could be a financial crisis going on in the home.
Always is. It's always something. It's always something.
You said always a financial crisis.
It's something, man. Somebody got to rob Peter to pay Paul. Somebody ain't getting paid this week. Somebody going to have to wait till that last day.
And we remember going through the keep your credit good phase, where as long as it don't go over 30 days. So we would stretch it out. Man. And we went through that phase in our lives, where we was paying the late fees and different things. But people don't realize, hey, Brianna, people don't realize that strengthens us.
Yeah.
And so when you see a problem now, you don't freak out about it. You're like, oh, we can get through this. We've got through this before.
This is second nature to us, so yeah.
And just a reminder, you're listening to Intellectual Radio, Feed Your Brain.
Mm-hmm.
You're here with Tracy and Dion, on Candid.
Reggie, what's up, cuz?
This is the Candid Talk, right?
It is.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the right show, because Chris ain't here yet.
Yeah.
Has she tuned in yet?
No, she
hasn't even tuned in, but that's okay.
Good job, Chris.
We had presents for you and everything, but those are the things and we're talking about tonight. Adult children should not feel their parents owe them.
That's self-entitlement.
And it's really it is pervasive in our society and globally. This goes across race and social economics.
Absolutely.
It's become a issue where grown people,
right?
I mean, 30, 40, 50, some maybe even older, still are relying on their parents to do, and then some of them unfortunately will get highly upset if the parent can't do.
Right, what's up?
And so I've known parents to go in debt. Because they just can't tell. They just can't tell their child, hey, listen, I don't have it, because and so the parent winds up going in debt, and then they look up and the parent has lost everything.
Man,
so we got to be careful. But
absolutely.
I also was saying,
Francine, what's going on?
That a lot of parents have created this.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that.
You know what, man? Going back to my job. Now that you mentioned that, I had another kid who. He was not an AT. Now, for people who don't know what that is, that's automatic transfer. That
They're never too old for a spanking.
Charged. That means you've been charged with a crime, and more than likely you're going over to the county when you turn 18. This kid was not an AT.
Okay.
He was an AT. His grandmother put up her house.
Oh, wow.
To bond him out.
Wow.
Put up her house to bond him out, and this kid got out and committed another crime.
Oh, wow.
And his grandmother lost her house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I get it, you 15, 16, you don't know what you're doing from one moment to the next, but I'm just saying to not recognize the sacrifice that your grandmother did for you, and this is how you say thank you. This is how you say, man, good looking out for me. I need to, pump my brakes and just be cool for a little bit, at least until I get through this.
Right.
You go right back out there, and that's the sad thing, man. Again, a lot of these kids, young adults, between the ages of 14 and 18, 19 years old, they think, if I got away with it once, I can do, or if I got caught once, then that's okay. I'm going to go do something else, and I'm going to try. They try and buck the system every time out, and that's how they end up getting, in the jam worse than the one they were before.
This was the speech my dad gave me about if you got incarcerated. He said the first time, it could have been a mistake, whatever, mistaken identity. So he said, I'll come get you.
Right.
He said, if you go back twice, that means you wanted to.
Man, you wanted to go. That's
he said, that means you wanted to be there. And so those are the types of things. It's like, look, I'm not going to be coming down and spending money that I'll never get back.
Exactly.
And you still want to hang with this person or that person, and then now all of a sudden, you're not going to bail me out. No.
Man, that's it.
No. What part of this, and then, to get mad, to say, well, we know you have the money. This one always used to get me. How people would get mad. They don't have the money, but get mad at you if you don't have the money. See, I've never understood that.
That is amazing.
I've never understood that. Amazing. So you don't have the money,
Mike, what's up, big
and
guy?
you ask me for the money, but you get mad if I say I don't have the money.
Right.
So those are the things. So teaching that responsibility. not feeling entitled.
Man,
saying thank you.
biggest thing, man.
My wife cooks for me and do things for me as I do for her, and I'm always for 28 years. Every time she's fixed me a meal, I say thank you. I appreciate that.
Right.
Every single time. It's not just sometimes, that I'll just to take it for granted.
Right, exactly.
And so when you show appreciation, I got a little tidbit that can help some of the younger people. If you show appreciation, you might actually get a little bit more.
People might want to go that.
There you go. They might
People
want to.
might want to go a little bit.
But if they can't do it,
it.
so here's the thing that I always say: if I've done for you 100 times in a row, and I have to say no once,
right,
and you hold the one over me
against the 100 other times,
that right there would cause a person to say, "Wow,
exactly."
You're not. I've said yes all of these times, and I said no one time, and now I'm the worst person in the world. And those are that's where that entitlement comes in. And that's what we're talking about tonight.
That's insane to me.
Don't ever think that someone else's money is your money.
That's
so that it doesn't work that way. If they decide to share it with you, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm saying,
but if they don't, keep that in mind.
And that's it. And that's I think we lose track. A lot of people lose track of the fact that nobody's obligated to do things like that for you. You have to remember that they're doing this out the kindness of your heart, of their hearts for you. Because they don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you struggling. They don't want to see you out there bad. Not because again, just like we said with the kids taking advantage of the parents are looking out for them. People start thinking, oh well, you know what? Like I said, my girl in Indiana, man, her
like
son. Think, oh, well, mama, I did. We'll go out and spend $200 on drinks. The last $200 I got, now I need $50 for my phone bill. Can you pay?
I like this answer. Brianna said, no is a complete sentence.
Right, exactly.
And with no explanation necessary. To say no is a complete sentence.
There it is, right? And it can answer whatever you ask. It can answer whatever you ask.
No is a complete sentence. But see, once again, and I'm guilty of it, because I didn't want my children to struggle.
Right.
So having two, one completely got it.
Right.
Preach, but like I said, daddy's baby, on the other hand, it's like, oh well, you've always did it.
Right.
So one of the things, because we were brought into financial matters.
Yeah.
They please. My mom then lay out phone bills, everything. You'd be like, I don't know who is ComEd.
Right.
You see what we got to pay here, and you think I'm gonna give you money for a class trip? And so there were many a times. And if growing up in CPS, if you didn't have the money for the class trip, they would put all the kids, because there's only about 10 of them out of the whole three, who didn't go. Right. And so, y'all got to sit there basically all day. But you know what? It made me learn how to hustle.
Yeah.
It made me say, the next trip, I'm going to make sure I get the money. And this wasn't a lot of money, but I came up in a big family. It was 9 of us.
Yeah.
So, if you $10 here, $10 here, that's $90. Right. So, I get it. But at the same time, I think a lot of parents would just like to see a little bit more appreciation.
And I think the one thing that I know that my mother taught us, and not in the most loving way, but she did teach us, just like you said, that, hey, look, man, we got other things going on around here. So, whenever it was a class trip, I thank God that I was always able to go, because my mother sacrificed, okay, $5, $10, whatever.
Hey, what's going on, Frank?
She even went with us.
What's going on, Emmanuel?
It was cool for her, for me to be able to, and like you said, there were kids that didn't, weren't able to go and stuff like that, and, me personally, I never poked fun at nobody, made fun, because it wasn't about that, man, because I knew, I just barely got here, you know what I'm saying? So who am I to laugh or snicker somebody else? So I knew better than, and my mother, even if I did once or twice, my mother the first one, hey, look, man, you know what I'm saying? You barely make hear about the skin of your teeth, so, you know what I'm saying? Snicker all you want to, but next time it's going to be you on the other side.
And I think some of those things, they do scar you if you were one of those kids who couldn't go.
Absolutely.
So now when I became an adult and I had children, I'm like, this will never happen to
Man,
my kid.
listen,
Never.
right.
I don't care what, Right. And so, like I said, not a real issue, but the article really just spoke something to me. Once again, this is Jasmine Denise. We're talking about her article tonight that adult children are not,
Adams, what's going on?
They're adult children. Well, basically, the parents don't owe adult children.
Right.
I'm mixing up the title right now, but that's the thing, and being able to being able to accept a gift and know that it's a gift, and if it didn't come, you still should be able to say, okay, I appreciate you even trying.
That's
So,
That's
but
it.
yeah, I mean, anything else? I mean, I think we've talked about this, and laid that out. But so what else is going on with you, man?
You know what? Little of this, little of that, man. A whole lot of nothing. To be honest, man.
How are the injuries?
Getting there, man.
Okay.
I was explaining to Tracy when we were walking in. I had therapy earlier today. That's why I'm dressed in athletic gear, because I had therapy over in River Forest. So I just stayed in the area. That was at 3:00.
Hey, Sonia.
My shoulder is getting better. Still not able to raise my hand all the way over my head, but it is much improved from what it was 3 weeks ago. For y'all that don't know, I had 2 surgeries in the last 9 months. I had a rotator cuff and labrum repair surgery. Then I had Achilles surgery at the end of April. And I've been off work since December, and I have thoroughly enjoyed every second of being off work. But I got about 2 or 3 more weeks of therapy left, and then it's back to the plantation I go, man. So it's coming to an end faster than I wanted it to. But
and listen, you better not come in here next week with some other injury.
I still got my boot. I still got my crutches.
Right.
Still got my sling.
Don't come in here with no other injury.
Oh, Lord, here we go again. But I mean,
add Washington guy or something.
Right. I appreciate you asking, man. I mean, like I said, I'm getting there, and so just rehabbing, man, slower than I wanted to, and I think I've said this before. The main thing for me is to be able to get back to doing what I was doing before.
Right.
And so I get it. Eventually I knew I was gonna have to go back to work, but I just want to be able to go play ball, go lift weight, go swim.
Stuff that you take for granted.
Right, without any restrictions. So I'm getting there slowly but surely, man. They cleared me to swim. They cleared me to start running. So I'm getting there,
My
man.
wife is the best. She said the article actual name is Dear Adult Children, Your Parents Don't Owe You Anything. I said, so
Beautiful.
thank you. She's such a
Beautiful.
That's why I'm going to keep her.
Yeah, you should. I think you should. I think she's earned that, man. I think she's earned that.
But so summer,
Keith,
this summer, as everybody know out there, I'm running for Congress in the Illinois 7 Congressional District, and in July we hosted our a picnic for supporters. That was awesome. Just to see people who are really interested in an independent candidate.
Yeah.
This is something that's totally different in our area.
Right.
Being in Cook County, in fact, this is something that a lot of people don't know. The last independent to be elected to Congress in our district was in 1873.
Jeez.
So Alexander Campbell was the last independent. But today, I think a lot of people
what's
are
up,
really, open to that.
Davis, what's up, bro?
We got a community service project here in my hometown of Westchester this Saturday. We're painting curbs.
Oh, okay.
That's because this is something I've been fighting for the last 2 years. Number one, when your curbs painting, your town looks better.
There it is.
And it's a safety issue because obviously most of the corners, our children are getting dropped off,
right.
And picked up from the bus. So,
right, yeah.
So we got some great people coming out. So if you're listening out there and you want to come out Saturday morning at 8:00, 8 to 12, we're going to be painting curbs, and because I always feel that if you point out a problem, you should be willing to be part of the solution.
There it is,
so don't just point out something and then walk off.
Exactly. Blame somebody else,
right.
Let them take care of it. Right.
I've made up a term. It's called problem pointer outers. It's not. I know it's not a real term, but you just have a lot of people, right? You just have a lot of people that would just point it out, and then someone says, well, what are you gonna do? Well,
They should.
Who is they? You know, you can do it because our town. You know, we've had budget cuts and different things in public works, and so they didn't have the manpower.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, well, I can volunteer, and then a few more people volunteered, and a few more people volunteered, and so no, you can't paint the curbs glitter rainbow. This would be the standard yellow.
Right. That's all we got.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, and so we're excited. So the weather looks like it's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that in my village here of Westchester from 8 to 12 on Saturday.
Yeah, you know what, man? I want to speak to something. And I think I mentioned this one show, months ago. It seemed like when we were going here, maybe March or April last time we were going here. But
It's been a while.
I think you are coming along at the perfect time, bro, because, people are looking for something different. They're looking for a change. They're tired of, the status quo. You know what I'm saying? Oh, vote for me and I'll set you free. And that kind of stuff is past. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it has shown to not work. So
yes.
I think you were coming along at the perfect time, man.
I appreciate that.
And what Lightfoot did, she beat the machine, you know what I'm saying, and she became the mayor of Chicago, and a lot of people didn't know who she was, or didn't really take a grasp to what she was trying to come out with. But enough people said, hey, man, look, we're going to give her a shot because we already know what the machine is about.
Right.
So I think the timing is perfect for you, kid, and I wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate
man,
it because what we're dealing with in my district is a political party monopoly.
Yeah.
Only one party has held this seat, Dion, since 1950.
That's amazing.
Straight.
Man.
70, next year to be 70
That's
straight
amazing.
years uninterrupted.
Wow.
And since 1973, it's only been 2 people to represent the district.
Wow.
So, we have to have different voices. We also have to understand, too, we're in a time where 50 years ago, our skill sets were very limited.
Yeah.
So you have a situation now where, I've worked in the corporate arena, the state as a state administrator.
Right.
I'm a U.S. veteran.
Right.
I'm an entrepreneur. So all of these things, and you bring that to public service.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I resigned my position last November as a state administrator. To concentrate on this. So this isn't a game for me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
This is a game for me.
All the chips are in, man.
So everybody out there,
if
if you're watching, follow us, Tracy Jennings IL. We're on Instagram, Twitter. Like us on Facebook. And support. Because one of the things that the current politicians do. The reason that our voices as everyday citizens are not heard, they get all of their money. 99.9% of the money that they get comes from corporations, special interests. So believe it or not, you're 5, you're 10, you're 15. That goes a long way to an independent candidate. I'm a completely independent.
Right.
I'm not represented by no political party.
Right.
And people are loving that. People are loving. People are getting excited about that.
Yeah.
And so, taxes, keep going up. People are tired and they want to see things happen. So, but guess what? We have to band together.
Yeah.
If we band together, we can shock the world.
Hey, I hear you, man.
What Muhammad Ali said, I shook up the world. I shook up the world. There we go.
Yes,
and so,
sir.
Those are the things. So everybody's out there. All you got to do, if you go to TracyJenningsCongress.com, log into the website, donate, spread it, share it. Talk to people because that's how we're going to start this movement, of taking back our government. This is our government. Elected officials work for us, not the other way around. So I'm excited. Don't get me started. See, don't get me started, man. Don't get me started.
Hey, my cousin Linda, she lives down in Georgia. She wants to know what district you're running for.
The Illinois 7th Congressional District.
Illinois 7th Congressional District.
So, but we can take take support from all over. And what we've been trying to do, this is something, and I can roll it out now, $10 a month, go in, set it up, recur it, put it up on the recur, and the election is next November. So if a person started in August this year, they would the most that they would give our campaign is $140.
$140. Yeah.
So, we have to start looking at that and say, okay, if I see it's a problem, if we don't change it, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's not gonna change.
Yeah.
Because the duopoly, and you call it that, the Republicans and the Democrats.
Yeah.
It's a duopoly.
Yeah.
And so they write rules, to keep independents out.
Absolutely.
So a Democrat only needs 1,230 signatures to qualify to be on the ballot.
Wow.
Do you know how many I need as an independent?
How many?
12,725.
So they only need 10%.
10 times what they would need. And these are the rules
Hey,
that
Shay.
have been agreed upon by both parties.
Wow.
So both the Republicans and the Democrats, they do this to keep independence.
Man.
I need 12,725 valid signatures just to get onto the ballot.
Hey, wait a minute, hold on. Linda said you in Vienna? I thought you was down in Georgia. Linda, I'm sorry. She said I'm asking because I'm sorry, my eyes ain't as good. Politicians only talk to you when they're running. Okay,
and that's the thing. That's the thing, and we have to stop that.
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat with you guys. I've never held an elected position, and this is something that was placed in my heart back in 2016. And so, I feel that I can do a better job.
Right.
And we're going to be sharing things, showing you how to hold your member of Congress accountable.
Responsible.
If you go to a website, it's called the Statement of Distribution.
Right.
It will break down every dime your member of Congress actually spends. How much they pay everybody on their payroll, what they pay for rent, what they pay for their cars, what they pay for the water bill, all of these things. And we need to know that so that we can hold. It's funny. Most people don't know about this. So how can we hold them accountable?
Right, if you don't know
about it. So what we're trying to do is open this up and say, hey, listen, hold me accountable. Yeah. If you do that, I'm telling you, that's when we'll feel you'll feel that sense of us working together. So,
man.
So we're coming down to the close here soon.
Okay.
But thank you guys, for all of your input tonight. And we're excited about the future. We're excited about continuing to work for people. This topic tonight that we talked about was a really fun.
Yeah, it was.
Because I know it's probably some people out there that might be on the other side of this. That might not be like, well, listen, if my mom and them got it, we should have it. But be respectful.
Yeah, that's
say thank you.
Man. That's just a little humility.
That's all.
It goes a long way.
It really does. And I know as a parent, of 2 adult children now who are doing very well for themselves. And I went through a thing, we talked about it when we had the Father Show a few months ago.
Right.
We're great. Hey, it's been great, y'all.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for your comments.
I think we're going to be back a little bit more. Summertime's over.
I hope so.
Y'all peace out and look forward to seeing and hearing from you guys again.
Weekend,
all right.
Love.
Bye-bye. Whew.